Hey everyone, welcome back and thank you for joining me for the next part of our live reaction playthrough for Dawntrail. So, quick recap from last time. I thought at least the beginning part was amazing. We rode this badass train down the line, went crashing straight through the barrier and into the fortress itself, and it was really just the dungeon run of the Vanguard. And we ended up fighting through a bunch of mechanical robots. It was pretty weird. Especially that last guy who, I don't know what he did. He did the exact same trick that Zeroja did before, where you think he's dead, but he's not really dead. He comes back, and then he mutates into like this kind of twisted snake. I don't know. It was just weird. Anyway, we are through the fortress, and on the other side, we are inside the dome. So we are officially inside the dome in Heritage Found. And that's where we left off, so let's go ahead and head straight on in to where this adventure takes us next. And I don't know if you can tell, but I have a little friend here who's going to be joining us. So if you see him throughout the video, which you probably will, just try to ignore him, even if he is cute. Okay, so it's just kind of like creepy silence. Okay, so we're just going to accept the next quest. Hopefully come up to some kind of answers. Doesn't make sense. That tower, was it always there? No! I highly doubt it. No, definitely not. Nor the wall over there. The material's not something we use in Toral. It's closer to what we saw at the gate to the Golden City, or those mechanical soldiers. Such a massive structure couldn't possibly have been built in so short a time. Yeah, we're talking about like a couple days, though. And I'm inclined to assume that we've been transported to another location. Or perhaps... Well, speculation will avail us not. We need to learn more before we can draw conclusions. Let's take a look around, then. So, yeah, a bit anticlimactic there. So we got 3 aetherytes. It is so hard to do this with a kitty in front of you. He doesn't want to leave, and whoa, what the hell is that thing? Okay, looks like we got some people doing some fate farming. Haven't seen anyone so far. Oh no, I mean I see plenty of people. Recognize the lay of the land. It's definitely Usalani, and yet... This place is unnatural in a way I've never seen before. This place is isolated by the dome, yet the skies are heavy with thunderclouds, the air oversaturated with lightning-aspected ether. Really, I hadn't noticed. That looks like a train station, doesn't it? Oh yeah, I guess. That must be Usalani Station, where the passengers disembarked. Then perhaps we'll find someone to talk to there. Let's go and investigate. Wow, we're getting to the next aetheryte crystal pretty quick. Oh wait, hold on. That was the first one, wasn't it? I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. And would you stop that? You make it so hard to focus. I mean, it looks like it would be part of Saloni. I mean, with all the, because of, like, this desert-like area, that thing, like... I'm completely at a loss here. What is going on? Alright, so first things first. This is definitely Usolani Station then, but... I'm pretty sure this is Usolani Station. But from the state of it, I swear it was abandoned years ago. I'm not sure what to make of this. We should look around a bit more. Wait, years ago? I mean, it can't be older than 3 years, though, right? That's when the trains were first introduced to Jacques Tarrell, right? This etherite is of Tarrelli design. Okay. It doesn't look like anyone's around here. Rusty tracks, falling buildings, like it's falling into total disrepair, almost as if it hasn't been used in decades. Okay, like, is there like a big time difference here? Because that seems to be the only explanation. Building is a rotting husk. It's clearly been many years since anyone's lived here. I mean, everything here is overgrown, so... Tracks are heavily rusted, and it seems they haven't been tended to for a long while. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be like some kind of a time difference here. This is a water tower for trains, isn't it? I honestly don't know. Turntable. Find a train turntable. The thick layers of rust suggest it hasn't been used in years. Amidst enormous alien structures, we have more familiar sights like this station. So, yeah, there is a time difference here. I don't know how much time has gone by, but I would say a fair amount. Oh, that might explain, Zeroja. Like, maybe he has been here for years. And that would explain, like, how he changed so much, and, whoa. Finished poking around, have you? Let's gather everyone then. I want you all to take a look at this. It's one of those soldiers. That's kind of creepy. Just standing there, emotionless. It's one of the mechanical soldiers, long since broken, apparently. But I say its presence confirms that this is indeed Zeroja's domain we're in. What about the rest of you? Did you learn anything? So all evidence suggests this is Usolani Station. Aye, and I have no doubts we're in Usolani, but I don't understand why these buildings are so run down. They were completed barely a year ago. For new structures to deteriorate and enormous ones to appear in a flash, if I didn't know better, I'd say time flows differently here. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody gets it. Is such a thing even possible? We have encountered this phenomenon before, as it so happens. Though it may be difficult to believe, our world is but one of several. In some respects, they are similar to one another, but in others, wholly different. We call them reflections. Simply put, the rift between dimensions causes time to flow at a different pace in each world. While hours pass in one, years may have come and gone in another. But if this is Usolani, then we should still be in the source. The flow of time should be synchronized. sure I follow all this talk of reflections and dimensions. But if Urnville says this is Yusalani, then it must be. Your village is a little further along, right? Urnville! Oh, yes, it's a short distance to the northwest. Let's head there next, then. Rather than talk theory, it's always better to confirm things firsthand. Since when did she become the leader here? May I be of assistance? It's still functioning! Doesn't seem to be hostile, at least. Perhaps we can ask it some questions. Can you tell us where we are? Unable to confirm credentials, Buzz. Please present citizen identification. Unable to confirm credentials, Buzz. Confirm, Buzz. Confirm, Buzz. Seems it's broken after all. Too strange by half. Let's leave it be and get going. Are those lightning rods? Would you accompany me for a moment? There's something I wish to investigate. So we're just running along the tracks. Got a big view of the tower. Look there. The lightning appears to be drawn to those pole-shaped structures over yonder. The design suggests there's some manner of lightning rod. Let's go and take a closer look. It had to be this one. This mount is so funny. Okay, so will we start to be getting some answers here? I'm hoping. This material appears to be the same as that used in the mechanical soldiers and warships. On closer inspection, it appears to bear fine etchings, rather reminiscent of arcane runes. These, I suspect they're not merely decorative. I would posit it's used to harness lightning as a source of energy. Quite impressive technology. I'll share this observation with Y'shtola. For a blessing, the dome doesn't appear to interfere with link pearls. Thanks for accompanying me. Let's head to the village and find the others. Okay, so, I mean, that's convenient. Thought that we should fit the theme here. Oh man, this is his village. No sign of anyone. This is Urnville's village, or what's left of it. Oh, Urnville. Let's stay vigilant. What in the world? Okay, creepy music. Fits the theme perfectly. Another one of those soldiers. Oh, is that his house? Aww.
My home. It's in ruins. But why? What happened here? And where is everyone?
I had a look in a few of the other houses, but they had clearly been abandoned.
Damn it all. None of this makes sense.
Excuse me? Are you looking for someone?
Who is... Oh, it's her! Oh, it's her! Finally, we might get some answers! Wow. Yeah, we recognize her. That is a gorgeous outfit.
I apologize for giving you a fright. However, I did have reason to keep to the shadows. Sorolja has told me a great deal about you.
So, you know him.
Sorolja?
Greetings, and welcome to the realm of Alexandria.
Alexandria? No!
I am Sphene, the Queen of Reason.
What? What?
Queen of Reason?
If you are
I'm
the
lost.
Queen of Reason, is there perhaps a...
King of Resolve. Oh no.
Yes, if you mean to ask if there is a King of Resolve. Sorolja holds that title, and together do we reign.
Don't tell me they're married. Please, please don't tell me they're married.
Then you are both behind the attack on Tuliyola.
Probably not a good idea to
you're here
attack
to offer
her.
us a warm reception.
I mean, she is alone. Probably not a good idea to attack a
You have
realm's
it all
queen.
wrong. I am not come to fight. Sorolja rules alongside me, but that is a matter of expedience. In truth, we are at odds, he and I.
So is she an ally or an enemy? I don't know.
It is at considerable risk to myself and my people that I come before you to beg your aid.
Our aid? I'll admit I cannot imagine King Sorolja is keen to share and share alike. But if what you say is true, you're still the queen.
I'm lost. I'm so confused. What is this?
Indeed. But I was once the sole ruler of Alexandria.
Oh, is she like Princess
Until
Garnet or
one
something?
day, he appeared, bent on conquest. In my weakness, I feared his power. So I persuaded him to forego violence and strike a bargain. I would remain queen, and he would receive technology that would empower him to achieve even loftier ambitions, along with the knowledge to use it.
Oh, man.
A gamble, to be sure, but if it might spare my people...
So there's definitely a lot more of you guys, so...
If I may, the dome surrounding these lands was erected but recently. How is it he was able to not only invade, but instate a new system of leadership in a mere matter of days?
I've never heard of your realm. And this place is, or at least was, Yasolani. The house I grew up in is still here. But 3 years ago, that tower and these strange contrivances weren't. Nor was our village in ruins. Where did you come from? And what happened to the people who lived here? You must know.
I realize how confusing this all must be. Truth be told, I don't fully understand it myself. What I can say is that one day, people from your Tuliolol suddenly appeared here in Alexandria. Or perhaps it was we who found ourselves in Tuliolol.
I mean, I think that's more likely.
Until but recently, we were completely unaware of events taking place beyond the barriers surrounding our realm.
Does this not remind you of the Crystal Tower? How after the 8th Umbral Calamity, we devised a means to transport the Spire across time and space from the source unto the First. Granted, this is on a much larger scale, if that is indeed what has happened. Not only the people and structures, but also the surrounding environment.
So all of this did come from another shard. It was just
Regardless,
all teleported
the
at
people of
once.
Lakeland perceived the arrival of the Crystal Tower much as the Queen describes her own experience. Sudden and inexplicable.
Well then, you appear to have a better grasp of our circumstances than we do. Indeed, more than I dared hope. In which case, a closer examination of the effects of this phenomenon may afford us more insights. Allow me to take you to the outskirts.
The outskirts?
A number of the
What?
Shatona live there as well. Perhaps your acquaintances
Oh.
are among them.
Oh, okay, so they're still alive then. They
Hold
just
on.
moved.
If we accept, there's no guarantee we're not walking into a trap.
That's a good point.
But if we're to defeat Zorolja, we need to understand how he grew so strong. Besides,
You're right.
Queen Sphene, before we go, Your Majesty, I have to ask, did you really have nothing to do with the attack on Tuliolol?
That's a good question.
Noble Wook Lamart, shall we dispense with the formalities? I'll not deny the soldiers and airships that attacked your people are products of Alexandria. But it was Zorolja, not we, who fashioned them into weapons of war and laid siege to Tuliolol.
I don't know what to
So
believe.
he alone is to blame.
I doubt that. There's no way.
I may not have prosecuted this war, but I nevertheless bear responsibility for it.
I mean, she is the one who kind of taught him how to use this stuff, right?
Perhaps. I know next to nothing about you, let alone what you've been through. So by all means, show us around. I think we'll learn a lot from meeting your people.
Wonderful! If you would follow me.
I don't know what to think. Yeah, that's also a very good point. Yeah, she'll be in a lot of trouble if Zorolja finds out about this.
Is that concern or suspicion?
Both.
If things should take a turn for the worse, might I call upon your aid?
I don't know what to think. I know I keep saying that,
Yes,
but
of course. But you do strike me as the most capable here.
oh man, I don't like this. I mean, she is like a really important character here, especially since she was on the poster. So I'm glad that we at least finally have like a name. So she's the queen of this realm, but I think it goes without saying, but we're not going to trust her just like that, right? Oh no. No, 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 no. Any way you look at it, a mysterious girl who appears out of nowhere proclaiming herself a queen is suspicious. Oh, boy. A royal welcome. It's inclined to keep a closer eye on Sphene. While having established that we should be wary, we could use more information. So let's head to this place, the outskirts, and see what we can learn. Perhaps about Sphene as well. Oh. Like, I'm torn. Because I think it's, if this really is like Alexandria, obviously not the same Alexandria from Final Fantasy IX, but if Sphene is supposed to be kind of like the representation of Garnet, then maybe she's an ally, but I don't know. I don't trust her. Like, I want to. She seems nice enough, but I don't know, just the way she talked. It's like, she definitely knows a lot more than what she's told us so far. And I, for one, do not think that she is innocent in, like, this whole, like, the attack on Tuliolo. Yeah, we just don't know enough, that's the thing. Most unusual farm, but the produce appears normal enough. Oh, this is a farm? I guess. The innovations of Alexandria are nothing short of extraordinary. It's a relief to see the people here are well, at least. Those brick buildings, I've seen their like before, though I cannot remember where. Have you ever seen such strange contraptions? I wonder what this one is used for. Obviously the crops. I trust you have similar farming facilities in Terrell? Not like this. They're completely different from ours. I've got no idea what all those machines do. We settled on this approach after some trial and error. The Terrelli have their own methods of farming, which they wanted to continue employing. But the environment makes it challenging. There's too much rain and not enough light. Thankfully, the use of electro has allowed us to fortify the buildings here as well as provide what nature cannot. Electro what? Electro. It's the material we use for Miata devices and applications. A topic for another time, perhaps. If you would follow me, we're nearly to the outskirts. Yeah, so from what it looks like here is that Alexandria did show up with the dome, but time here moved so much faster, and the people eventually just ended up moving over here to the outskirts and are implying like this new technology so that they can grow food and I guess pretty much self-sustain themselves. The only question here is, though, how much time has passed? I'm almost afraid to ask. And at least we finally have a name for like this weird glowing material. Electrome. It's a rather lively settlement, isn't it? In defiance of the ceaseless gloom, almost. I don't know, I mean, if I was stuck with rain and thunder all the time, I'd probably become gloomy too. It's a relief to see the people here are well. Hopefully the same can be said for everyone in Ysulani. It's fascinating how they combine traditional bricklaying with electro-based engineering. Curious blending of two cultures. I'll admit, I've seen nothing particularly suspicious yet. I don't know, I think everything here's suspicious. This is Tonowanata village, or at least it was, before the dome and these strange contraptions. Yeah, so you could definitely see a mixture of both mixed in.
Here we are.
Oh, this music!
Though you'll doubtless find much of what you see in Alexandria strange, the traditional agriculture practiced in this village at least should be familiar.
This is like the Alexandria theme from Final Fantasy IX, isn't it? Oh my god. I knew there was supposed to be some, references here, but like this is like straight up Alexandria.
Queen Sphene? What business brings her here, I wonder?
The queen has come!
Well, the people here seem to love her, so maybe she's not bad. I can't say, it's just too early.
Pakune. And Katonye, I see you've already taken to your new position.
When she introduced herself as queen, I was expecting someone colder. Honestly, she reminds me of you, Lamachi.
Me?
It's only natural for a ruler to love her people. And I should like to know them as best I can, even the most trifling details.
The more you come to know them, the more you grow to love them. Who they are and what they've built.
That's it. Beautifully put.
And it would appear that she is well loved in turn.
Your Majesty, you honor us with your presence. And who are these fine people?
Tuliolol's vow of resolve Wuklamat and her companions. They come from beyond the barrier, but you needn't worry. They are good people and are to be treated as my honored guests.
The rumors of a link to the outside are true, then. Lamont is still so young. Oh, where are my manners? I am Popone, a leader of sorts of the people living out here.
Papone? That is a Tonawautan to it.
Right you are. I take it you hail from this region as well? Teshpiani, perhaps?
Espiani. Yeah, these names.
Yes, I do. I don't suppose you know a woman by the name of Kafkiwa?
Kafkiwa? I'm afraid I'm not sure if I've ever met someone with that name.
Oh. Mother isn't here. But it's a relief to know at least some of the people of Yasulani are alive and well.
Your mother, you say? Now that you mention it, I do see the resemblance.
So she knows her then.
You know my mother?
I do. Yes.
Then tell me, please, where is she?
I cannot say. Not here, but I promise I will in due time.
I have a question, Pepone. Do you recall what happened the day the dome first appeared?
The barrier? Well, I remember fixing a shelf that had collapsed after a terrible earthquake. Then the ground began to tremble. There was a brilliant flash of light, and then... Forgive me, my recollection of it all is rather poor.
You needn't push yourself, Popone. After 30 years, no one could blame you.
30 years? So it's been 30 years?
30 years? As in 30 years in the past?
So 30 years have passed inside the
Absurd
barrier.
though it may sound, there is no doubt in my mind the events that led to the joining of our lands occurred 30 years ago.
Then how are you still young?
Which is not to say I understand why our perceptions of the intervening time are so radically different. We only just became aware of the discrepancy when Zoraljar's military base was completed, and we were at last able to venture beyond the barrier.
I believed you long dead. To have the chance to kill you myself is an unforeseen blessing.
I was wondering what the hell he was talking about. This is the reason.
30 years. Little wonder Zoralja assumed our father had already passed away.
It's not unlike how time passes differently in the First and the Source. The fluctuating space of the rift between them disrupting temporal equivalence.
Okay, but they appeared here.
Perhaps the same holds true here, and time flowed faster within the dome.
Yeah, but it's still in the Source, isn't it? Oh, that's a good question, too.
I cannot say for certain, but I strongly suspect that to be the case. And based on the Queen's account, this encampment may have come to serve as a physical bridge between the two planes, after which the dome was forced into the Source's temporal flow.
I'm going to pretend I understood what you're talking about. Man, 30 years.
If we're to be certain of anything, we need more information. Sphene, would it be all right if we had a look around and spoke with the townspeople?
By all means.
Time to see what we can see of Alexandria, then.
Oh, I got a bad feeling about all of this.
And its people. I may yet find familiar faces among the survivors from Yasolani.
Well, if some of them are
Even
Viera...
if I don't understand the half of it, I would learn more of this place before we confront Zoralja.
Perhaps you'd care to see how we make our living. Though we have always prided ourselves on the use of traditional Tonawatan farming methods, the use of electro-fueled technologies has led to countless agricultural innovations.
I would join you as well.
Oh, she's chipper.
Ma'am, please, you needn't trouble yourself.
It's no trouble at all. And I promise not to cause any manner of distraction.
Reassuring words, or they would be had I not heard them countless times before. Very well, but do be careful.
Of course. I shall proceed with the utmost care.
What is with those weird headband thingies that they have on their heads?
If you two would follow me, we can begin the tour.
I mean, Zoralja had one too, so...
I can't say that I trust her yet, but I trust that her affection for these people is genuine. And that's enough for me.
What is going on here? Like, what are those things? Everyone has like those weird things stuck to the side of their heads, so that has to be important for something. And what about Namika? I just thought about her. Isn't she here? I mean, it's been 30 years. Touring farmlands with the queen of another nation is not how I expected to spend my day. Electrope has done much to improve the efficiency of their farming, but hasn't replaced everything. The people wanted to preserve their old way of life, and we did not want to force ours upon them. You went to such lengths so that our cultures could coexist, even going as far as to learn our tongue. I'm sure everyone appreciated that. Communication was thankfully not an issue, for the Terali tongue is surprisingly similar to Alexandrian. Oh man, I can't wait to see Solution 9. That has to be in the tower thing, right? Of course, there are words and phrases for which there is no equivalent, but those can be taught with minimal effort. Through mutual respect, understanding, and patience, we Alexandrians and Terali have learned a great deal from one another. I mean, it's been 30 years, so... And I'm sure that there is much you wish to learn as well, so please, if you have questions, do not hesitate to ask. Okay, a day in the life. She's eager to show us around, and it looks like we get some more food. Rather than bore you with lengthy explanations, let us head back to the farm we passed earlier. Yapili's Hollow, it is called. We can speak with one of the farmers when we arrive. Guess we're off to Yapili's Hollow. Or Halo, I guess. Okay, so at least we got some questions answered. So we are technically in the city of Alexandria, which came from another reflection, but somehow merged together with Ysulani. Okay, so I guess that answers part of the question. And yes, 30 years have passed, so that explains why everything is so run down, like in other parts here. Still, like... Here we are. I'm sure you'll learn a great deal from the workers here. Oh, we have some Roniks. What do you suppose they keep inside this building? No idea. Allow me to introduce you to Mahawasa, one of the most experienced farmhands in all of Alexandria. She's well-versed in Miated farming techniques. Indeed, the wealth of knowledge she has shared with the other farmers is what has allowed this place to flourish. Queen Sphene, to what do I owe this sudden shower of praise? My apologies for the interruption. I'm come with guests from beyond the barrier. They wish to learn more of Alexandria, so I invited them to see how our crops are grown. I do hope that's all right. So the rumors of visitors from the outside were true. What manner of host would we be to deny them a look around? And I gather your majesty also intended to check on things here? You know me too well, Mahaswa. I thought to seize this opportunity to see how the farmers fare and perhaps pepper them with a few questions, though I do so enjoy observing and taking part in the work too. 'Twould appear we have her permission, so please walk the grounds to your heart's content. You go on ahead. I'll keep Sphene company. Don't misunderstand. I'm not the suspicious type, but given our positions, it would make sense for us to go around together, wouldn't you say? Fair points, but be sure not to let me out of your sight. I shall remain under Wuklamat's watchful eye. Pray come find us after you've seen your fill and spoken with the other farmhands. Yeah, I mean, she's suspicious as hell. Because I'm thinking that she has to be... Duties here are quite varied despite being merely a farmer. We all have to do our part. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, as I was saying... What was I saying? I'm pretty sure she was that voice that we heard before. Like when Zeroja first opened the gate, there was a voice on the other side who was speaking to him. So I'm thinking that was Sphene, or at least some kind of, you know, royalty, because she pretty much confirmed that she had made a deal with him. But that was 30 years ago, so how come she still looks so young? So that doesn't make sense. Oh, an unfamiliar face. I gather this is your first time on site, then. Well, this here's the storehouse, or rather the entrance. The real storehouse is underground, much more spacious and equipped with a temperature regulation system to keep the harvest from spoiling. Since the entrance is so small, it's much easier to prevent wild beasts from wandering inside, which also makes it a veritable facility for breeding and raising livestock. We've even got a few beds down there for emergencies. My parents often complained about how Alexandrian technology and electro complicate our lives, but it's just a matter of learning how things work. Take my job, for instance. I'm presently overseeing the storage of harvested crops. They'll be taken up to the tower for processing, and from there find their way to every dining table in Alexandria. The work is hard, I'll not deny, but I take great satisfaction in what we do. I mean, from what it sounds like the people here may not be so keen on leaving. Light levels appear to be fine. As for the power source... You wish to know about my job? I tend to the fields, mostly, watering the crops, keeping the soil fertile, and so forth. Yeah, it admittedly took some time until I fully understood how best to carry out my duties. I also manage the lamps we use in the fields. We do our best to keep everything up to code, but should they ever start to malfunction, it's up to me to fix them. The land and sky being what they are, ensuring a rich harvest makes for constant work, but honestly, I enjoy how involved the process is. Both my parents being Alexandrian, I didn't grow up knowing much of anything about farming. Every day is an opportunity to learn and grow. Pardon the pun. I don't know why they have to worry about, watering the crops because, it seems like there's a constant storm going on through here. Are those dodos? Huh. We would find them here. They're saying that you and yours are visitors from beyond the barrier. That true? So it is, which means we're connected to the outside world again. Not that I have a desire to leave, mind you. I'm quite content with life here in Alexandria. But settling that aside, you're here to observe our work, right? As you can see, I'm in charge of livestock. Here at Yapali's Halo, we produce not only fruits and vegetables, but also meat, poultry, and eggs. Tending the animals is an absolute joy, but I have to be careful not to grow attached. It's always a little sad when they're shipped off, but a job is a job. I need to get back to it, but it was nice talking to you. Please give my regards to the Queen. I mean, everything seems legit. So why does everything just still feel... it almost feels like they've been brainwashed or something. I know that sounds weird. I know technically it's been 30 years, but that's kind of how I feel. Though I don't think that's the case. I don't know. I'm just completely addled. I don't know what to think. It's a shame Kona's not here to see all these bizarre contraptions. I see. Don't be so hard on yourself. Anyone would be hard-pressed to deal with such a thing. Oh, welcome back! My apologies for failing to notice your return. I gather that you had your fill of speaking with the farmers? Then let us return to Mahawasa. Well, what are your impressions of the farm? Yeah, everyone loves their work. Curious observation. Do you not love your own work? Oh, but I jest. It's true that the people of the outskirts seem the most fulfilled. Always, they take their duty with good cheer. And what did you think of our little tour, Lamachi? Oh, Lamachi, so she's calling her Lamachi now. What did you call me? Was that inappropriate? My apologies. I heard the others call you by that name, and I thought... No, it's fine. As you said before, we've no need for titles and formalities. Really? We had to go through, like, a long trip together before you let us call us that. As for my thoughts, I'm very impressed. The machines could be used to overcome so harsh an environment is amazing. I've never seen anything like it. feeling is understandable. Indeed, many still find the machinery behind me baffling. It's a system that courses the distribution of water for the fields and livestock. It's been acting up lately, though. Acting up, you say? You needn't worry, my queen. It happens fairly often. Put simply, it's taken in water that had a strong lightning charge. We think some creatures have become charged up with the energy and they're releasing it into the river we use as a source. The system would return to normal if the creatures were dealt with, but I'm reluctant to beg it of the army. Oh boy, I see where this is going. We could take care of it if you like. That is most gracious of you to offer, but it is much too dangerous, please. Oh, it's no trouble for the valor resolve of Tuliolo. Regardless of how the relationship between our nations may develop, if there are people in need, I want to help. Simple as that. And Claire is even stronger than I am. It shouldn't take us long at all. I mean, I've saved the world more times than I can count, so it should be a problem. And very well, I graciously accept, but please take all care. I mean, I can go and take care of it if you want to keep an eye on her. This has to go even faster if you and I search for lightning-charged fiends on our own. Good hunting. I want to like her! I do! She's making it very hard not to like her! Sphene, I'm talking about. Like, she does remind me a lot of Garnet, and I think that's the point, so... Ooh, I wonder if there's like a version of Zidane and Steiner and Vivi. No, wait, we already have Vivi, sorry, but you know, the others from Final Fantasy IX. That's gonna be really nice if we do run into, like, you know, they're not the same people, obviously. Because there's no possible way this is like the exact same Alexandria from 9, but still. That would be kind of nice. These things are freaking me out. Like, they're obviously modeled after Sin Eaters. That particular Sin Eater that would happen to, you know, Tesleen. It looks like somebody else is already doing this quest too. Is there no way through? Come on, there's like big gaps! There shouldn't be a problem! I'm really curious about meeting Urinvel's mother, so at least that seems to be confirmed that she's not dead, so... Like, the way that he talked about her, she seemed like she'd be like a real delight to be around, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Just out of curiosity, is this place like always clouded over? Like, is the weather allowed to change even just a little bit here? Just curious. And there they are. Ah, you're both all right, thank goodness. You really needn't have worried so much. We barely broke a sweat dealing with the fiends. They're all gone now. Of course I was worried. You're my dear guest. But thank you. We truly appreciate this. Indeed, with this we don't have to ask Zeroja's machines for help. He's been making a concentrated effort to bolster his forces, sparing but a fraction of the people's protection. He thinks nothing of our safety, unlike Queen Sphene. That's enough, Mahawasa. If you have grievances, I will hear them later, but speak of the king now. No, she's right. He's never been one to look after his people. Anyway, thanks for letting us tour the farm. The folk here are delightful, and it was a pleasure to meet them. You couldn't have favored us more with more uplifting words. My people are my pride and joy. And you never fail to let us know, nor how much you care. Of course, you're my precious family, all of you. You seem a good sort, Sphene. I'll admit that. But if you'll forgive me if I'm not ready to lower my guard for the enemy queen just yet. For you to be called that, I dread to imagine what villainy your majesty has committed. Come now, this is no laughing matter. A ruler is responsible for the welfare of countless lives, and one wrong decision can lead to untold suffering. Failure is unconscionable. Now I believe we are done with the farm. Let's move on, shall we? I am still really curious about Namika. Because she is supposed to be here, on the cloud. Perhaps we should head back to the outskirts. I dare say your friends will also have returned by now. My thanks again for dealing with the fiends. Come and visit us anytime. Oh, I completely forgot to attune to the crystal here. I was so taken aback by the whole thought of Alexandria in like 30 years and all. I did not even stop to think about that. It's okay, it's an easy thing to fix. It's better to do it now before something crazy happens. I just have to see really quick. I don't think we'll have much. No. Okay. It's like old world meets futuresque. Like a dark futuresque. It's kind of cool. There's so much of Alexandria I would love to show you. Do you hear that? No. What? What's going on now?
What's happening over there?
It's nearly time.
Time for what? What's going on now?
I'm glad you could make it.
Oh my god, is that her? Oh, it is! Oh.
Are you with us?
Queen Sphene has come to see you.
Oh no. She was so nice. Yep,
We're here,
there it
Namika.
is.
Everything is going to be all right. Oh, what's the matter, dear?
Did she not hear her name?
It can't be. That's the bangle I gave to Namika.
You know her?
Of course I know her. She was like a mother to me.
I see. She was always willing to lend a kindly ear to others, but rarely did she ever speak of herself.
She has been here for 30 years.
Is it really you?
She must have arrived shortly before the barrier manifested. For us, it was perhaps days, but for her...
Namika, it's me! Wuklamat!
I'm afraid her time with us is nearly at an end.
Has she no more soul cells?
Soul cells.
She always used hers sparingly, but at her age, it wouldn't make a difference.
Soul cells? What?
Ma'am, the ushers have arrived.
Thank you, Namika, for your many years of friendship. Take comfort in the knowledge that this is not the end. Be not afraid. Your memory will live on, in us.
Living on in memory. The Giants share a similar belief.
Wait! Where are you taking her?
Worry not. She is being escorted to a medical facility in the tower. There we will ease her burden. I had hoped to make arrangements for her sooner, but she wished to remain here for as long as possible. I could not bring myself to refuse her.
Is there any way I might stay with her for a little while longer? We may not share the same blood, but she was my mother. Please.
Let us give them some time alone.
Man, that was hard to watch.
She didn't speak, but I'm grateful that I could be with her at the end. Thank you.
It's not the end.
Hmm?
Okay, that's ominous.
Nothing. I was just thinking that we have much to discuss. Where shall we begin?
With what we can be reasonably certain of, perhaps. Between what we have witnessed and the testimony of
Hello?
Alexandria's inhabitants, it's safe to say that two distinct lands have indeed become one. What's more, having met
You were
Namika,
so spoiled.
there is no denying the divergence in the passage of time. Taken together, these phenomena strongly suggest that some manner of cross-rift displacement has occurred. Specifically, the displacement of Alexandria from another reflection to the source.
It does seem the most likely explanation.
What perplexes me, however, is the scale of said displacement. It far exceeds what could conceivably be achieved with a Void Gate, or even with the Crystal Tower. In essence,
that is a
we are
good
dealing
point.
with a localized instance of dimensional compression. The Ascians would no doubt liken it to a rejoining.
So basically, two separate
Which
parts of a
invites the
reflection
question,
joined together.
how was such a feat accomplished?
I wish that I had an answer for you, but this talk of reflections and dimensions is well beyond my understanding.
She's lying. She has to be.
I can only tell you that we lived peacefully under the barrier's protection for many, many years, until the day that peace was suddenly broken.
If I may clarify, the barrier predates Alexandria's displacement.
By several hundred years, yes.
Oh.
To when the continent we call home was ravaged by a devastating cataclysm. The barrier was erected to isolate us from the surrounding land's noxious influence.
Really?
I see.
So maybe...
And it was only later that it was whisked away, along with its contents, by means unknown.
In other words, Sphene's as lost as the rest of us, right? The Alexandrians didn't mean to end up in Tural.
So is it like from another reflection that was already rejoined? Like the 12th shard? Because that was like overcome with like lightning aspected ether, right? So maybe like they
But of
survived
course,
somehow.
our next stop ought to be Everkeep. That tower over yonder. Once you have been registered as my guests, you will have access to Solution 9 and its residential district, where you will doubtless gain
finally!
invaluable
Solution
insight
9!
into Alexandria's state of affairs. Unfortunately, I cannot take you directly to where Zoralja resides.
That you'd let us in it all goes a long way toward proving you're not content to let Zoralja do as he pleases. But we're not talking about a simple difference of opinion here.
Nope, we're here to kill him.
I've come to avenge my father. And to do so, I intend to take Zoralja's life. Are you willing to stand by and allow Alexandria's king to be slain?
A fair question. Permit me to answer it thus. My people come first. Their welfare is paramount. I will do everything in my power to keep them from harm.
So if she had to choose, she would definitely go for her people over Zoralja.
It is a ruler's duty. Now, I am off to register you at Everkeep. It may take some time, but you shall find the entrance open to you in due course. Oh, and ere I forget, your mother, Kafkiwa, you might try the Thunder Yards to the east.
So that's where she is then.
Is that where she is?
I am afraid I can say no more than that. Make for the Thunder Yards, and all will be made clear.
Oh God, thank God. Like, we might finally meet someone who can tell us exactly what the hell is going on. And you are really starting to annoy me with you keep moving the camera.
It's not as if we have
was
other
that?
pressing business. Not until we can get into this Everkeep, anyway. Thank you for earlier. And for being a friend to Namika these past 30 years. It means a lot to me.
Namika? I'm sorry, but I don't know who you mean.
What are you talking about? You were just with her. Did that thing like erase his memory or something?
What? We were just with her. If this is some sort of a joke, it isn't funny.
I don't mean to give offense, but I honestly have no idea who you are talking about. I'm sorry.
How can you not know who
this
she is?
Creepy.
You're in charge here. She was under your care.
Then in all likelihood, my memories of her have been stored in the cloud.
The cloud? What? Okay, so that thing is responsible.
Any person seemingly forgotten without reason is probably there, in the cloud. Oh, I really must be getting back to work. If you'll excuse me.
We're talking about a person here, not like data or information or pictures or something. What do they mean by stored in the cloud? And soul cells, like they mentioned that earlier. What is going on here? This is kind of freaking me out. I'm not gonna lie, this is really creepy stuff. This is very unsettling. I hear ya. As far as I could tell, Papone generally had no recollection of Namika. We'll see how it is with other people. Never seen nor heard of anything like this before. What's going on? How could Papone suddenly forget about Namika? It's as if he never knew her. Could the same thing have happened to others as well, I wonder? There's only one way to find out. Let's make inquiries about Namika in the area. We can reconvey afterwards at the Aetherite. Okay, I mean, I thought we were going to go off to the Thunder Yards, but yeah, I really want to know what's going on here. Because, like, she was surrounded by people. She lived here. People obviously knew her. And then suddenly, like, I'm guessing those things on their heads just wiped their memories clean of her. Is it because she died? Like, the second that she died, like, their memories of her were completely wiped out? An old woman named Namika? I'm afraid I don't know that person. I'm sorry I couldn't be of help. I mean, it's looking like that. Like, is this how, like, Zerosha controls the people? You know, like, constantly brainwashing them or making them forget? I mean, that might go some way to explaining things. What's that? Do I know a Namika? Never met anyone by that name, and I've worked at the outskirts for a good while now. If she spent time here, I would remember. I mean, that's disturbing. That really is disturbing that someone could just forget someone like that. I mean, how is their memory supposed to live on if they're, you know, being forgotten about? Okay, yeah, you were definitely here. Do I recall caring for someone until recently, and you say that it was a woman named Namika? Well, I can't say for certain if it was her. I wouldn't worry. I'm sure she's just been taken up to the cloud. What the hell are you talking about, this cloud? Like, what is the cloud? Everyone seems to be, like this is natural. So it was the same for everyone. Not a single person remembers Namika. It's as if the memory of her has been purged from their minds. While such a thing might be done with magic, to alter the memories of so many at once would be a tremendous undertaking. We would have felt a surge of energy corresponding to the act too, and I sense none of that in the moment. Neither did I, but I did notice something else. Right before Papone seemingly forgot, a light in the device on his head began to blink. Yeah, I saw that too. Could there be a connection? Someone also said something about soul cells. Like, are the souls being taken somewhere? Who might we ask about this? If we continue making such inquiries, I expect we would only cause confusion. I mean, we have to go find Erinville's mother, right? Indeed, if we can't really readily solve this mystery about Namika, perhaps we should search for Kakiwa instead. Sphene said to try the Thunder Yards. It should be in this direction. What is that? A screen? What? Impossible! Okay, what is that? It's like a TV screen in a bubble? What? Another kind of mechanical soldier? It looks dangerous. We better destroy it. Ah! I mean, doesn't look dangerous to me. It looks kind of cute. Should we give chase? Well, duh! I mean, that's our best bet. I think it understood our words. It might be worth asking it some questions. Erinville, are you alright? You look like you've seen a ghost. It's nothing. I'm fine. Well, it went off in the direction we're headed anyway, so let's try to track it down. I mean, it seemed sentient. Because it seemed like, you know, it seemed surprised when it saw us, so... it seemed very different from the mechanical soldiers, because they're just robots, okay? They have no, like, emotions, but that thing seemed like it had at least some kind of emotion there. I'm just curious. It's faster than it looks. Well, it doesn't have legs. It can fly, can it? So, not really a surprise. I do not see it. No sign of it over here. That voice, could it be? Wait, was that his mother's voice? I mean, he seemed to recognize it, right? Like, don't tell me that's what they do with, like, you know, when people die, they put their souls inside the robots or something. Like, is that what's going on here? Because I'm not sure what else to really say about all of this. Oh, there it is. I still think it's cute. And it looks like it's heading to a secret hideout. You found it? I'm betting that that is Kakiwa, and she's maybe controlling it, like with the remote control. To the northeast? Then it must be bound for the mines. Come on, then. Could well be a trap, so let's not rush in too quickly. That's what I'm betting. And that's why it freaked out when it saw Urenvel, because she recognized him. So that's going to be a cute idea. And thank God we can finally meet someone who can, you know, give us some answers here. The stones in these crates, could it be turquoise? So it went in here. Old coal mine? It appears to have long since been abandoned, like so many other places. Surprised that they would leave turquoise behind. I think it's safe to assume it went into the mines. Yeah, I kind of figured. Hear faint voices coming from inside. Okay, so there's definitely more than one, so it's not alone. But we're still going in, of course. Of course we are. This may be a trap. Be ready for a fight, everyone. Okay. Would appear no one has worked these tunnels in quite some time. And yet I see some more of those crates, so not worried. We've had to improvise countless times before, after all. Device made with electrode. It seems to be the only one here. This tunnel just keeps going down. I can hear them. Several people up ahead. Well, I do trust your ears more than most, so... I can't make out their conversation with the echoing. Let's keep going. Stay on your guard. Okay, this is gonna be good. I can feel it. Okay, so someone's clearly been living here, so... it has to be her. It has to be.
What is this?
Urenvel!
Oh boy.
A trap?
It really is you!
And it has to be her.
Huh?
Huh?
I just have to get a look at you in the light. And I can still hardly believe my eyes. But it is you, my darling Ilonespia!
My
Ilonespia.
darling,
So that's...
what now?
Oh, they don't know, do they? Aww.
Oh, it's so good to see you, my fussy little bun bun.
Bun
What are
bun?
you doing here? What brings you all this way?
Fussy little bun bun? I'm sorry, I have to ask. Oh.
Why, the long face? Aren't you happy to see me after all this time?
I'd know that laugh anywhere. Mother?
Yep,
Wait,
it's confirmed.
wait. Since when was your mother a weird floating thing?
Obviously, she's speaking through it.
And what have we here? Say, aren't you Galul Jaja's kitten? I knew I recognized that adorable fuzzy face. Ellen Espier was always so excited whenever you invited him over to play. You remember me, I hope?
I can't say that I do, but you know my father?
Appearances notwithstanding, it would seem this is my mother, Kafkiwa.
I'm sorry?
Oh, but this won't do. Come in. Come in! Friends of my Ellen Espier are always welcome.
Well, at least she's a good host.
All I ask is a little forewarning, but no.
It's like they are so used to this craziness from her. Oh, she seems like she's someone who's a lot of fun to have around. Oh.
Just when I thought I was starting to get a handle on this place, how are things still getting stranger?
You know what? I have to agree with you on that. Okay. The Allagans had machines that could be controlled remotely. Is she using something similar to communicate with us? I think that's the most likely answer there. Erinville's mother is a floating machine. Right, that makes about as much sense as everything else thus far. Yeah, just roll with it. It's really our only options here. At this point, I doubt anything could possibly surprise me. Well, I would not make that bet. Can't say I understand what's going on, but at least Kakiwa is safe. We look alike. Oh, hello? As far as I can tell, this is indeed my mother. I can think of few people in the world quite so spirited. She seemed like a lot of fun. As to what's happened, we'll need to ask her. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so Gone Forgotten's the next quest, but I think we will leave it there for next time. Wow, so a lot of stuff here happened. I think we can kind of have expected that. Okay, so let's try to sum this whole thing up. So we made it inside the barrier, and we find out that it's technically part of another reflection, and it was brought here unknowingly and somehow merged together with the land of Ysulani, and 30 years have passed by inside the dome. Okay, so I'm glad that we got that answered. It makes a lot more sense, especially after seeing how everything seemed to have been, fallen apart after, decades, even though it's not even a few years old. So, oh boy. And now we have Sphene, who obviously is kind of based after Garnet. I love her outfit, by the way. And she seems nice. Like, I want to trust her. But after what happened with, Ashahi, like at the end of Stormblood, it's like, I really wanted to trust the guy. He seemed genuine, but then he turns around and turns out that he's like the biggest asshole ever. And so I because of that, I'm kind of stunned. Like, I'm very suspicious about new characters, especially when they do seem overly nice like that. I mean, she seems like she truly loves her people. The people seem to love her in return. We don't know if that's an act or anything. I mean, she was there in Tuliolo. Like, we did see her. She was standing there. So she knew about the attack. She had to have had some kind of part in it. And if 30 years really have gone by, then why hasn't she aged? Because she still looks pretty young. Like, I know that, age works kind of weird in this place, but hey, like, something here is not right. And then there's the whole thing with Namika, and like everyone just magically forgot her. Why? And it has to do with like those weird things on their heads, which is the exact same thing that Zeroja had. So like we did see it glow, like when he was struck down by Galu Jaja, but then suddenly he came back and then like it started glowing again and he turned red and, you know, became stronger. So we have no idea what that thing is. But the good news here is that we do have Kakiwa, who should hopefully explain some of the craziness that's going on here. So, okay, that's a nice way to sum everything up, but where the hell did this come from? Like, what shard did they come from? Because, you know, it's Alexandria. Like, so immediately I'm thinking of, you know, like maybe it's from the 9th shard. So the 9th shard is confirmed for us to still be there. And that seems the most likely, especially since, you know, Alexandria, Final Fantasy IX, shard number 9, like, it makes sense that way. But the way they're talking about how, you know, the barrier was constructed to protect the Alexandrians from this great cataclysm. Now, it was stated that during the second Umbral Calamity, which happened thousands of years ago in the source, that calamity caused like an entire year of massive thunderbolts to rain down from the sky. People were forced to take shelter in caves or underground or some kind of, you know, fortresses to protect themselves from the lightning. And it was because they were underground for so long, which was a breeding ground for disease and pestilence. But that was also where like the first spells for magic were developed. Okay, so that happens when the 12th shard was rejoined. And the 12th shard was destroyed because of some kind of like electrical, like lightning aspected calamity. And so so when it was reabsorbed like into the source, all that lightning aspected energy had to go somewhere. And that's what resulted in like a year of constant thunderbolts. So that at least makes sense. So, hi. Would you stop that? So I'm thinking like maybe like seconds before the 12th shard was completely reabsorbed into the source, like some kind of barrier came up and protected maybe only the city of Alexandria. And the people were inside the barrier all that time. And then suddenly, because it has been there for centuries, that's what Sphene was saying. So it was there for a very long time. And then suddenly, at least from the Alexandrians' point of view, the people from Tuliolo, like from Taral, just suddenly appeared there, like with no warning. So that seems to be the most likely, but the timing does not add up because the 12th shard, which led to the 12th Umbral Calamity, happened thousands of years ago, like anywhere between 8 to 10,000 years ago. And she says that the barrier was only up for several centuries. So if she had said like maybe like it had been up for thousands of years and our people just sort of, you know, lived inside it since then sure, I can believe that. Like there's still some things here that we're not really, you know, connecting. And so unless like the people there were maybe like put into some kind of deep slumber and like they weren't aware of how much time had really passed, or maybe this is something to do more with like such extreme like time jumps. Because like, you know, 30 years have passed inside the barrier. It's only been a few days outside. It might be something like that. Like maybe it's like time distortion once more. But then if that's the case and time inside like the 12th was much slower than on the source, then why would 30 years have passed inside the dome? Like none of this is really adding up to me. So I'm hoping that Kakiwa can explain more of what's going on, especially like what that thing on everyone's heads means and why they all forgot. Because I noticed that the people there weren't wearing those strange contraptions to their heads, so I'm pretty sure that has something to do with it. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm really excited to see where this story is going to take us. Thank you so much for watching, and be seeing you guys again soon. So until next time, everyone, take care.